Alright mate, I get the message. Last orders. You've called it about 6 times already. Bloody hell, we're going. I'm gonna have this last one and I'll be on my way. What's your problem, you? You're starting to get right on my tits, you know. I'm definitely not coming back here.
Beware the
Don't mean nothing. Anyway, on last orders today, this is what we're gonna be drinking for old lasty orders. A Little Faith Northern Monk Hazy Session. God damn, what's on my finger, yo? I've just been changing the old keg because we've got like a boxing night in the Slaughtered Lamb this Saturday. Obviously it's Chris Eubank and Conor Benn rematch for anyone who's interested. So I'm opening up the Slaughtered Lamb for the boys. We're gonna have a lads night. Basically live sports, beer on draft. Gonna get the air fryer with chicken wings on the go. You know the score. Anyway, but that's the reason this has ended up on the menu basically today, because I sent a message out to the lads who are coming, just saying, right, we've got 2 perfect draft machines going. I'll get the drafts in. Let me know what you all want. I will just order them, and then once they're all here, we'll just split the costs. So there's only a handful of us coming. It's not a mad one. Like four of us, I think, are coming. Maybe 5, but it's ideal because you can get 4 people in the booth anyway. So with that being said, this is what we went for. It was Charlie, my brother, who was like, he had a look through the Perfect Draft app and he was like, bro, you've got Northern Monk on the draft. Shall we get that? He swears by it. He says it's banging. I've never tried it, so like I was just like, let me have a look. So I went on to the Perfect Draft and had a look what the reviews were saying. Everyone's saying it's really good. And one of the beautiful things about this beer is it's only 4%, which means, well, I've ordered 3 crates, so we've got like, there's about 10.5 pints per crate, so about 31 pints or whatever. I'm actually going to go to the shop around the corner and get 2 more kegs because I've got about 6 or 7 kegs to take back, and you get £5 for each keg. So I'll probably get 2 more in. It'll be 2 for the price of 1. But I'll probably get something different. Anyway, long story short, I thought 4%'s a good one because we're going to be kicking off the day at 3 PM. You know what I'm saying? The boxing kicks off about 9:30 or 10. So it's going to be a good drinking sesh. If you start diving into the 5% or 6% and stuff like that, you're never going to make it. So I thought, yeah, all right, Charlie, 4%, I can deal with that. It says it's a hazy session IPA. So I've already put 1 in this Perfect Draft machine anyway. So we're going to pour a pint, have a look, have a smell, have a taste, and see what we're in for. God damn! Alright, here we go. I've drawn for a new glass today, a Beavertown. I just thought it just feels a bit more fitting for this type of like beer, an IPA, you know what I'm saying? It says hazy as well, so I'm expecting it to be a bit cloudier. And I usually use an Old English glass, Old English pub, but I think that it sort of in itself says I'm from the past, whereas I think these like this new wave of IPAs and stuff, it's more like, you know, recent, as are these sort of glasses, so it's only fitting. Let's pour this sucker. Damn. Okay. Not too shabby. Do you not need to get one of them, like, knife scrapers to get that beer off the side? What we've got? What's that setting? Nothing? No. Thought we had a little setting. So it's alright. It's not urgent. But what are we looking at here anyway? It's definitely hazy. You weren't messing when he said it was a hazy IPA. 4%. At least a two-finger whitehead. In certain parts of Europe, that'll be considered the perfect pint. In England, it's like, bro, I just want a one finger. You know what I mean? Because we're greedy in England. Ooh. Okay, then. That is very citrusy. Pardon me, for starters. Oh. I want to say like peach. Yeah, I want to say peach. I can smell peach. Apparently, and I don't know how true this is, this whitehead protects the beer. Don't go and tell all your mates, I don't know how true that is. So having it sort of like, you know, to the elements in the room is what I'm saying. I don't know what it's protecting it from or how it's protecting it. That's just what I've heard. Alright, calm down. Okay, so I can, it's weird because it's 4% ABV, but it's like I can smell that there's alcohol in there. Almost like, you know, the fumes. Like the ethanol yeast or whatever it is. But it's not a bad smell. Or like experience, like feeling. I want to say peach. I want to say peaches. That's like the closest I can get. It's citrusy, but it's not lemon. It's not like lime. It's peach. That's what I'm getting. Anyway, it's got pretty good head retention, to be fair. I can't really see much carbonation going on because it's so cloudy, but on the bottom of the glass, which I can't really show you, there's a lot of like bubbles going on, which is a good sign. Anyway, guys, let's get into this. Cheers. Oh, wow. Delicious. Delicious. Is this why Charlie was banging on about it? This is actually, I've got a little bit of history we'll read in a second. This is dangerous, this, because of how Moorish it is. I'm going again. Oh. Wow. I have to shut my eyes to get into me taste buds, into me glands, and view it through the eyes of the glands. And I said this about the, what was the last one I'd done? The Corona on draft. It was like, the analogy I used, it's like when you take a sip, it's like a train. You have a sip, that's the front of the train, in your mouth, being driven straight through. You get the initial flavour. But then as the train drives away and it pulls the garages through, the other flavours follow through. And that's doing it with this. So the initial hit is like bang, fruity, punchy. Then the second carriage comes through and it's like the chest warmer. Even though it's 4%, it's there. And even now, that's where the bitterness is coming through. Almost like the barley or wheaty, biscuity, whatever that corner of the beer is, that comes through at that point. But it's not an overwhelming bitter either. It's like just a nice way to finish off the train. So then when you're on a boozer and you just sipping it, that train keeps going through as you're indulging in conversations with your mates and in your family and stuff. And it's a consistent, nice drink to just keep going back to. And because of that bitterness in the chest warmer, it's not overpowering with the sweetness and the fruit. Because without that, you walk in a dangerous territory of, is this going to be a beer I can continuously drink all night? But when you add that burning bitterness at the end, just to counter the sweetness, it almost goes, yeah, actually, to your brain, I can continuously drink this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm buzzing we've got it in for this weekend. God damn! Let me just read a little history. It's not a lot, it's just a little bit. Apparently, Northern Monks, A Little Faith, that's what this beer is called, A Little Faith, Hazy Session IPA, 4% ABV, is a lower strength, sessionable spin-off of their flagship Faith Hazy Pale Ale. So, okay, so this is like a spin-off version of a primary ale that they originally made called the flagship Faith Hazel Pale Ale. Sorry, I doubt it's called flagship. It's probably just called Faith Hazy Pale Ale. Flagship, isn't that like a reference to their, I don't know, isn't that like an analogy statement of our representation of who we are? Is that what flagship means? I don't know. Leave it in the comments. It's not easy being stupid. Trust me. Anyway, so that must be a higher percentage, because what they've said in this paragraph is this is a more sessionable, and that's literally what I've just been saying. And when I spoke to the boys and said, yeah, let's go ahead with this one, that's one thing that I actually said that might benefit us. We're going to be drinking all day. It's 4%. It's going to be more of a sessionable drink. However, I didn't know if it was going to be too sweet or whatever. But like I've just been saying, it's perfect because it's got the bitterness at the end to just shut the door on the sweetness to load you for your next sip whenever you're ready to take it. So, yeah, fair play. Whereas if we were to get the other one, I don't know what percentage of that is, but it's obviously higher. You're at risk of ruining the night early because of the ABV. You're just getting absolutely trolleyed too quickly. Northern Monk, founded in Leeds in the UK in 2013 by Russell Bissett and Brian Dixon. Has made a name for itself by blending traditional monastic brewing values with modern hop-driven craft beer. The beer was specially created to deliver the same juicy, tropical and citrus characteristics of Faith, which is obviously the flagship one, but at a much lighter ABV, making it easier to enjoy more than one. God damn, I should do beer reviews. You are doing them. What? It has become a mainstay in Northern Monk's hazy range, reflecting their broader commitment to approachable yet flavourful session beers. Okay, that's a bit of a genius move on behalf of Bissett and Dixon. Because really, when you think about it, you do want to make something that is, you know, you can keep going back to. And I would say there's probably, what's the words? The audience for this is probably a younger generation. Because what you've got nowadays that you didn't used to have back in the day, when like beers were drunk, like let's say the early 1900s, late 1800s, maybe even like all the way up to the 60s, you didn't have the competitors of all like the spirits and them sort of like, what are they called, like alcopops that flavour some, you know what I mean? I don't know what year they came in, but point I'm making is beer was just like the go-to. There wasn't a lot of options on the shelves, whereas today, like I've got mates, like one of my mates that are coming on Saturday, he won't drink beer because he just never got on with it. So he's always drank spirits. I think making something like this is going to attract the next wave of audience to compete with all the alcopops and sweet flavoured drinks, if that makes sense. But making it at a 4% ABV is a genius move, and apparently, according to that statement we just read, Northern Monk, the brand, make various versions of IPAs that are all sessionable drinks. So maybe they have got a couple more low ABVs. As far as I'm aware, Perfect Draft have not got them on the tap, but we could definitely look into picking up a few cans or bottles off the shelves and testing them and going down the Northern Monk section, because we're on a journey to find a nice beer, you know what I mean, to add to the catalogue. So when I'm out and about and I'm just happen to be in a new boozer and I look on the taps what they've got on draft, rather than having to go for the skanky old Fosters or whatever, and go, hang on, I've had that Northern Monk before, that what's it called, A Little Faith hazy IPA, give me one of them. In fact, give me two of them. In fact, give me three. Keep them coming, because I know it's got that bitterness at the end that's going to allow me to keep drinking this. And it's only 4%, so I'm not going to be feeling too bad in the morning. But that's my analysis on this anyway. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I've only 18 minutes. Bloody hell, John. Perfect carbonation as well. Perfect carbonation. It's even maintained that little white head the whole way through on the top. You know what I'm saying? What would I give that out of 10? That's a 9 out of 10. That's a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Big boy scores. If you haven't tried this, even if you haven't got a, what's it called, Perfect Draft, maybe try and find it in cans wherever you are. But if you have got Perfect Draft, this is the deal that we got actually for this week. So on the Perfect Draft website, I ordered what's it called, 3 kegs of it, let's call it 30 pints, and that came to, because it was in a package deal, and I had a couple of like tokens that they give you, because every time you buy they give you a couple of tokens, which deducted the price further another £8. So I ended up paying £87, like 70 for 30 pints essentially. But if you weigh that up in my local boozer, where it's what's it called, £6 for 1 pint, you're talking 6 times 30. £180. So we basically just saved £100, you could say, by not going to the boozer. That's a bargain. Whichever way you want to look at that, that's a bargain, is it not? Anyway, so yeah, Aaron's not even going to be drinking this. It's going to be like 3 of us. If the 5th lad does come, I'm going to pick up 2 more today anyway, but I've got to get just normal drinks. I want to see if they've got the Jeremy Clarkson's lager and eggs. Apparently they're getting it in, and if they have, I'll get 2 of them and we'll review it. But yeah, 9 out of 10. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and remember, beware the moon.
Beware the moon.